Hey, Geeky Pastimes here, and in this video I've got a huge amount of information for you about what's happening in zombies now, sort of over the next week and in the future. We've got some information about kind of how Treyarch sees zombies and what they're trying to do with it, what they're planning on doing kind of in this season and in season 4, and kind of some of the general kind of ideas about how the mode should be going in future and the various different modes within zombies. There's loads of information in here, so please stay right to the end because I'm kind of going to go through every little bit of it. And there's like quite a lot of surprises, I think, in this. Quite a lot of things that are really exciting. They've confirmed a lot of stuff that I didn't really know about before. If you like the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And if you want to see me taking on the new Outbreak Easter Egg on Thursday, check me out over at Twitch, twitch.tv/Geeky Pastimes. If you follow on there, you'll get notified when I go live. So we'll get started. There's so much information to get through, but one of the things that I'm most excited about is obviously the Easter eggs. Like, a lot of this information talks about when Easter eggs are going to be available, what sort of form they're going to take a little bit, and things like that. I'm really excited to get back into zombies and have something to hunt for, because obviously in the round-based maps, we had a full Easter egg and D machine, which, managed to solve with Noah J and Codename Pizza and Starburst, so that was really awesome. We had Firebase Z, which, still managed to do with that group, but admittedly we weren't first. And then in Outbreak, we didn't really have anything like that. We had some hunts for intel and artifacts and things like that, but we didn't have like a proper main quest. And it sounds like there's one of them coming very soon, but there's also going to be a lot more of that coming, which is really exciting. So, first of all, probably the most important thing that I wanted to know, and I'm really happy that they've said this a little bit earlier than I expected, the Outbreak main quest, the first Outbreak main quest, and more on that later, is going to be going live this Thursday, May the 20th at 6 PM in the UK. So that's 10 AM Pacific time and 1 PM Eastern time. So that's Thursday the 20th of May, so this Thursday. So I'll 100% be there ready. As soon as it goes live, I'll be searching for it. I'll get a team together and we'll go have a look for it. I have said I'm not going to be playing alongside Noah J and Codename Pizza and Starburst this time. I'm not going to join that team again, just because, as some of you will know, I had some connection problems with Firebase Z. I don't really want to have to go through that again, so I kind of want to be host. So I'll be getting a team together and we'll be doing that hunt. So check us out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Geeky Pastimes, 6 PM UK time on Thursday, ready for the first Outbreak main quest. Now, when Treyarch were talking about this, when they announced this in the sort of blog post that they've just put up, they talked about the idea of there being a record-breaking new amount of quest-driven zombies content. That means Easter eggs. When they talk about quests within zombies, they mean what a lot of us just refer to as Easter eggs. So the idea of there being a record-breaking amount is really exciting. Because obviously we've had this little dry patch, we've had this little dry spell. I'm very excited to kind of see where they go next with this, what they're going to be doing next, and all the different kinds of main quests we're going to get, because it sounds like it's going to be a little bit different. Treyarch have said that they're really happy that Outbreak's brought in sort of new players to zombies, and I think that's a really important thing to remember, that while a lot of people, me included, have sort of played Outbreak, I enjoyed it, and then after I got to sort of round 20 on one of my first games, I didn't really play it that much, other than when they add a new map to it, I'll have another couple of goes on it. I haven't been that excited about it. But really the idea behind Outbreak is to sort of provide a lower barrier of entry into zombies. And I completely understand this. Like, as a solo player, I didn't really play that much zombies. Like, before I had a team, before I could easily get people together to come play zombies with me, I didn't really spend much time in zombies maps, just because doing either high rounds or the Easter eggs was really difficult, and like, you had to know a lot, you had to sort of work well with the team and communicate with the team, so doing it with randoms was really annoying. Outbreak is much more relaxing. That, like, Outbreak, you can go in, you can kind of just complete the objectives without having to really talk to anyone. You can do it solo really easily and do really well in it. It seems like it's a kind of more relaxing, less kind of hardcore version of zombies, and it seems like it's worked. So they've talked about the idea that when Outbreak launched, that time was the time when there were the most people playing zombies since Black Ops Cold War released. And to me, that's kind of surprising. I would have thought it would be, at launch, or when D Machine started, or when Firebase Z launched, when one of those Easter eggs launched. But no, it was when Outbreak launched. So obviously lots of people who don't normally play zombies, who don't, necessarily get excited for a round-based zombies map. Bear in mind, all of those have been free as well. people who maybe weren't interested in all of that stuff have been getting into Outbreak, and that's awesome. That's brilliant for the community. Obviously, it's brilliant for content creators. If more people get involved in zombies, that means, you know, the developers have more incentive to spend more time, more resources making amazing zombies experiences for us. So one of the sort of revelations that they talked about with the Outbreak Easter egg is not only are we going to get an Outbreak Easter egg on Thursday, you know, that's the first big one, they're actually going to do another one in season 4 as well. So we're going to get 2 in kind of close, proximity. I'm assuming season 4 is going to start in about a month. You know, these seasons last for a couple of months, and we're at the halfway point of season 3. So that means we're going to get an Easter egg now, and then we're going to get another one, maybe in like a month's time. They've actually even talked about the idea that the next proper kind of round-based map is going to be coming at the beginning of season 4, or in season 4 at least, they said, not necessarily day 1. And it's story-wise, lore-wise, is going to take place after the events of the 2 Outbreak main quests. Well, they said after the events of the Outbreak main quests, and it was plural, so I assume it's the 2 they're talking about. So we're going to have 2 Outbreak Easter eggs to do before we get the next round-based one. And lore-wise, they all kind of tie together. They're not separate things at all, which I think is really cool. It's nice to have something tied together. And I've been surprisingly, you know, like more invested in this story than I was in the previous zombie storylines. And that's not to say that I think it's better. It's just that I've seen this one from the beginning, and I think there's a lot of people in that situation who, you know, haven't been playing zombies since World at War, haven't been gathering every little bit of intel, watching loads of YouTube videos about it, piecing together the story of, you know, the original crew, and everything that was happening there, the whole Aether storyline. Instead, this is kind of a chance for them to do kind of a fresh start. I know there's some callbacks and stuff like that, but I think the story so far is fairly self-contained, and is something that you can enjoy kind of regardless of your previous level of zombies experience. So I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to sort of see where the story goes. Now, another thing that I thought was kind of interesting, maybe a semantic thing, but I thought some people, especially in the zombies community, would find it interesting. In this blog post, they specifically refer to Outbreak as DLC 2. So they talk about it being DLC 2. And I know there's been some people who have said like, oh, Outbreak isn't it DLC 2? There hasn't been a DLC 2 yet. From Treyarch's perspective, it is DLC 2. It's an unusual one for sure. You know, it's a different one. They talk about wanting to have like a large-scale zombies experience. They say, you know, fans have been asking for it. They wanted to do something special with it. And that's kind of how they see it. And I thought that's really, really interesting that, like, to them, Outbreak isn't like something completely different in terms of completely separate from the normal zombies thing. It's more like an expansion of it, and it's more like a different take on it within the same mode. And yeah, I find that really interesting. So Outbreak officially is DLC 2, which I thought was interesting. Now, some of the other things that are coming with this new main quest. Obviously, the main quest, like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how we're going to trigger it. We don't know how long it's going to be. I saw a developer say something on Twitter about they hoped it was going to take a lot longer to solve than the others, which is a good sign. But we know, like, there is going to be a main quest, you know, with a story, probably, I'm assuming, with cutscenes and things like that, but at least with new dialogue and everything. They've also said there's going to be an Order Encounter world event. So Order is the massive monster we saw in Firebase Said, you know, the thing that you fight as the last boss, but you also fight in some of the waves, you know, the defense waves, sort of invasion waves that happen. That's going to be a new world event, which is going to be crazy to see Order in places like, you know, Sanatorium and Duga. I'm really excited to see that. That'll be really cool. And it's important, like, that's not part of, like, the main quest. That's just a new world encounter. Another crazy thing that they're adding to zombies, to Outbreak mode specifically, is fishing. We don't have any kind of other information. It just says fishing in Outbreak and then a bunch of exclamation marks. That's really peculiar. Like, is this going to be like a fishing mini game? Is it going to be something like, are you going to pick up an item, a fishing rod, and do something? Are the fish going to give you buffs? Like, I think that's kind of what happens in Fortnite, isn't it? You can get different types of fish and they give you different buffs. Maybe it's going to be something like that, but whatever it is, I'm excited to see, sort of, to go to Sanatorium and sit there and do some fishing off the dock. I think that's going to be a nice little change, and it could be quite funny to do that. So yeah, we're getting fishing in Outbreak. I did not see that coming at all. We're also going to get, of course, like new intel, new audio logs, new radio transmissions, new artifacts, all of those things. In Outbreak especially, because the maps are so big, those are quite well hidden, so it's quite a fun thing at the beginning to sort of try and find all of them. Scotto on our Discord tends to find all of them and just tell me where they are. But yeah, so there's going to be loads of new stuff like that to find as well. We've also got, and now there's a bit of a list of like new things coming now, so apologies for the lack of kind of structure to this, but I'm really excited about how many new things are coming. We're going to get a new Cranked mode. It's like Cranked 2 for the round-based maps, so for D Machine and Firebase Z. No details on what that's going to be, but Cranked was quite fun. Like, I quite enjoyed it on D Machine, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they've changed up for this. We're going to get a new bonus map for Dead Ops Arcade 3. That game's way too hard for me. I can't do that mode. Standoff is coming to Onslaught, which you'd kind of expect. All of the DLC weapons since launch, so all of those things, you know, like the new sniper rifles and the new, you know, the carve and things like that, and the E-tool and sort of the swords, all of those things are going to be put in a mystery box and in the trials machine. There's going to be a way to put custom blueprints on weapons in game, which I thought was something that was already happening, but they talk about there being sort of custom mods and attachments and things. So if you find a gun in game, you can apply kind of your loadout, by the sounds of it, to that gun just by sort of going into the menu and pressing apply blueprint, which will be kind of interesting. I'm not sure how much that'll change, you know, the idea of, at the moment there's a bit of balance between, do you keep your weapon from the beginning and try and level it up because it's got the attachments you want, or do you get like a mystery box or wall buy with random attachments? It sounds like you might be able to choose what attachments go on there. Annoyingly, in the blog post they called it like custom mods, which got me really excited. I was like, oh, it's like Black Ops 3, we're going to get like custom maps, but it doesn't mean that. It means something like just applying blueprints to weapons. There's also going to be zombie-specific weapon tuning, and I think this is a massive deal that they've talked about the idea that they want weapons to feel more powerful in zombies. So at the moment, if you played zombies, some weapons are crazy powerful, like the Hauer is incredibly good. The M16 is pretty good as well. And those weapons sort of dwarf all of the other weapons, where like everything else seems a little bit rubbish in comparison. They talked about they're going to do a weapons pass that is just for zombies mode to try and make a lot of those weapons more powerful, maybe change the pack punch modes of some of those weapons, things like that, to try and make sure across the board, like Black Ops Cold War weapons, you can kind of use a lot of different weapons rather than just being tied to the ones already powerful. It's interesting that they're doing it. They're not talking about nerfing the Hauer. They're more talking about buffing everything else, which I think is probably the right thing to do in zombies. You know, it's not a competitive mode. You want to be able to kill lots of zombies very quickly. I think that's a lot of fun. The new weapons that are coming in Season 3 are the sort of reloaded bit, the baseball bat and the AMP-63 machine pistol. Those are going to have weapon unlock challenges. It sounds like the pistol might not be on Thursday. It might be a little bit later. They said that in season, but definitely they're going to have zombies challenges like all of the new weapons will, I think. There's some changes to zombie health at high rounds and scaling with self-revive costs. And I think this is another really interesting point, where at the moment, if you are good at zombies, once you get to high rounds, so I think it's past like round 43, the zombies don't get any harder particularly. You know, there'll be lots of zombies and the rounds will go on forever, so things like ammo and stuff will be a problem. But it doesn't actually get harder to kill the zombies past that. There's kind of a cap. It sounds like they're going to make it so it's much harder to kill zombies on the higher rounds. And if you keep buying self-revives, it actually gets more expensive. So at the moment, you know, if you go down, you can just rush around, buy another self-revive, and then keep on going. It sounds like that's going to get harder and harder. So high rounds are going to get a lot more difficult. Maybe some people are going to have to like redo, you know, trying to get to around 100 with the new system, or 200 or whatever people get to. It's not something that I do just because it takes so long, but it's something that I quite like watching other people do. You know, it's a fun thing to watch on streams. So that's going to be really interesting to see how much harder they're going to make it. It sounds like that's kind of a focus of theirs, is trying to make it more challenging. There's also sort of a very specific weapon balance change. They talked about the ZRG sniper. One of the things that I saw people, well, after they unlocked it and used it in zombies and were trying to get Dark Ether on it, one of the things they hated is that when you pack punch it, it only shoots one zombie at a time, which if you can imagine a slow sniper rifle in zombies only hitting a single zombie at a time, that's like a nightmare. So they've made it so that will now affect multiple zombies. You know, you'll be able to shoot a bunch of zombies in a line, which makes it much, much more powerful. They also talked a little bit about Deadwire 5 and the idea that Deadwire is going to be much more useful against big groups of zombies because, you know, it's a little bit weak at the moment, the top upgrade of it. So looking ahead, that's all stuff that's kind of happening this week, or, you know, in the next couple of weeks at least, with a couple of them. That's stuff that's happening, you know, quite soon. Now, looking ahead a little bit at what's going to be happening for Season 4, so for the rest of the season, They've confirmed that there's a round-based map, like I said earlier, and it is definitely going to be taking place lore-wise after the events of the main quest in Outbreak. So that means that kind of, if you want to be following the story, you need to be playing these Easter eggs in Outbreak, or, you know, watching the videos or watching your favorite streamers doing it. But yeah, the story is going to carry on. They've talked about this new map has been worked on since before the release of Firebase Z, so it's not like, oh, this is something that they've just, you know, thrown together now. This is something that they've been working on for a long while. And they seem, you know, very excited about it. So I'm looking forward to what it is. We still don't have any idea of like where it's going to be set or what it's going to be about or anything like that. I'm sure there's some people who have gone through the intel and have ideas. You know, I've heard ideas about it being somewhere up in the Ural Mountains, like where the Outbreak stuff is, or like maybe in Berlin, or maybe like maybe it was something completely different. I'd quite like something set in like Miami or something. I think that'd be quite cool. But yeah, so it's something's coming in season 4. It's going to, you know, be a more normal map, a round-based map, and it's going to have an Easter egg. Interesting, so we're going to get 2 main Easter eggs, at least in Season 4. We're going to get one for Outbreak and one for this new round-based map. So that's really cool. There's also more Zombies content being worked on, they said, including new perks, wonder weapons, support weapons, limited time modes, and Dark Ether story intel. I don't think any of that's surprising. Like, I think everyone expects there to be a new perk or 2, new wonder weapons of each map, I assume. The support weapons kind of thing is vaguely interesting. You know, what support weapons are going to get added in, because they're generally the score streaks from multiplayer. So it's kind of fun when they get put in there. And then they said, sort of end off the blog post, and I think this is a really important thing, that they do really care about feedback on Zombies. That, you know, Zombies is a different thing to everyone. Everyone has different things they want from it. They know that they didn't get everything right. Like, they know the bugs have been frustrating, disconnect bugs, the crashing bugs, especially at the beginning of Firebase Z. Some of that, they talk about the idea that XP has been a problem. You know, sometimes they give too much XP, sometimes they don't give enough. They're still trying to balance all that stuff. If you use their Trello page, which is something they talk about quite a lot on Twitter and sometimes in the blog post, and actually in this blog post there's a link to it, there's actually a kind of guide on how to submit bugs. So if you find bugs, if there's something that you realize, like something happens, you can go in there and find out exactly what information they need and what they'd find useful to be able to reproduce it. Because that's one of the biggest problems for them, is obviously, you know, millions of people playing the game, millions of people doing different things. They will find bugs, and then if you just say to them, oh, my game crashed, that doesn't mean a lot to them. That doesn't help them very much. But if you can give them the sort of exact things you were doing, and, you know, how long the game had been running, or how many people were in the game, things like that, that might help them to reproduce it and help them to fix stuff. So, you know, if you care about Zombies, help them to fix stuff. If something goes wrong in your game, let them know and give them the information they need. So that was a massive information dump. Sorry, there's been quite a long video, but I thought there's so much to talk about. Some of the highlights for me, obviously, the Outbreak map is coming at 6 PM UK time on Thursday. That means I can play it. That means I can stream the hunt, because I'll be finished work by then. So I'm super excited to be able to do that. I'll probably go live like an hour or so before, but definitely I'll be doing that with a team, and I'll talk about who's going to be in that team once I've worked it out. I'm really excited about this fishing thing for some reason. I just find that really utterly bizarre. Like, that's really strange. I'm excited to see what fishing in Outbreak's like. And I'm really excited. It sounds like we're going to get 2 main Easter eggs in Season 4. So that's not that far away. We're going to end up with a bunch of Easter eggs. That's really good. Really happy that Treyarch's put this out. Really happy that Treyarch have put out so much information and been sort of so transparent about all this. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got for us on Thursday. So if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you think the fishing's going to be like, what you're hoping for from the Easter eggs and from the next round-based map. Obviously, as always, no leaks, no data mines, anything like that. Don't care about that stuff. Just want, you know, if you've got some speculation, that's always a lot of fun. Like and subscribe. Go check me out on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/Geeky Pastimes. Follow me on there. And on Twitter, when I find new things, I tend to post them on Twitter first. So twitter.com/Geeky Pastimes. Thank you very much, and goodbye.